over the weekend too. Pauline Hanson had to clean up after you when you suggested that One Nation would force permanent residents to sell homes they own to Australian citizens. Did you want to clear up that policy? Because I guess to Tanya's point, when we're analysing those policies, we're finding some holes.
Well, the thing about that, let's look at that. This is about the scratchiness. OK, I made a mistake because we didn't have the policy written down, and I corrected it on the same interview. And all of a sudden, people are febrile. Oh, we've got it won. Quick, run out and tell B1 and B2 that the One Nation is over. I mean, if people are grasping for that, if that is the reason to change,
you haven't got much reason.
Isn't it a bit of a worry, Barnaby, that it's not written down and you're going public with the policy?
You haven't got much reason to change. Okay, it is that it's not including permanent residents. So, I mean, is that it? Is that what all that excitement was about?
So you just made it up. You didn't have it written down. You just made it up.
That was all that excitement was about. And so this is, you've got your answer, and what you have is it's vastly more ingrained than that. People have changed not because of an interview on Sky. People have changed because they don't trust you anymore, and they don't feel their life's getting better, and they hear the talking points and they just go waffle.
All right, well, let's talk about housing. 7 News has a big series of interviews coming up on the major issues facing Australia. Housing obviously is one of them. We've seen that in the budget where you've just hit 28 million people. Migration is a huge issue as well. Tonight the focus will be on that big Australia question. Tanya, what should our population policy be? Do you see some merit in this policy that One Nation announced over the last couple of days? Should we be a big Australia?
Well, no, we should be the right size Australia for our national interest. And we've seen immigration come down 45% since we came to government, because we do think that the settings that were left to us by the Liberals and Nationals under their last government saw too many people coming in immediately after the COVID restrictions were lifted. The right size for Australia means that we do still have migrants, particularly to do important work. You know, if you go into any nursing home in Australia, you'll find that there's a lot of people here who are on permanent visas who are looking after some of our most vulnerable older Australians. At the same time, we need to be training more people here to do the jobs that we need to have done in Australia. That's why we've got our free TAFE policy. I think if you talk to Barnaby about who's picking fruit in the rural electorates,
to be honest.
You don't like listening to women much, do you, Barnaby? I'm happy to let you have a turn and talk about your immigration policy.
Of course, that's it. I'm a sexist, of course.
Let's be gracious then, Barnaby. You can finish this off. What do you think about Australia having a big Australia policy, or what do you think should happen with our migration?
Well, of course, you've got to do a stock take of what Australia can absorb. But the Labor Party been bringing in basically the population of Canberra each year, without the houses have been built, without the schools have been built, without the hospitals being built, without the roads, without even the infrastructure, the dams. They've got this pathology about building any sort of seminal infrastructure. And on top of the fact that they're basically blowing up the coal-fired power stations, so we've got the dearest energy, people have a frustration, and there's this inability to absorb and an inability of Australia to grow its industrial base to absorb people into a form of life that the Australian people expect. People in Australia, born in Australia, of every creed and colour and gender, get sick of going to a house auction and being knocked out of it by people, to be frank, who looks like they've recently arrived. Now, that is the right of Australians to be, especially young couples wanting to get into a house, to not be forced out. And that builds up resentment. So we can't say that because
by investors, Barnaby.
And that is the debate that will continue for many more weeks. So, 5 weeks after the budget, we're still having this discussion. Barnaby, thank you. Tanya, thank you to you as well. An equal opportunity interview to hear from both genders there. Over to you, Shirva.